Hi everybody. Thank you so much for being here and coming here to listen to me and taking your time out from your precious day. The reason I'm here today is because I want to talk about adapt, evolve, and thrive in digital ambiguity. As we all know that we're all struggling, maneuvering through the landscape, getting confused with all sorts of different things, all sorts of new shiny things coming about. So this is just a philosophy that we have in our organization, the way that we deal with the landscape, the way we identify how and what you should be doing at what point in time. So I'm here to talk about how you can build a healthy organization that can weather challenges, stay resilient, and then at the end of the day, emerge stronger. I, by the way, am Nimisha Agarwal. I'm the lead specialist in data standards in digital health and care Wales, a part of NHS Wales. So what will I be covering today? I want to be talking about what is at the heart of this, what do I need, where am I now, where to and how, and let's do it. And then you can ask me anything. I'm going to open the floor up for some questions. You're going to be feel free to answer anything. I'm going to be free to answer anything. So what's at the heart of it? So what we think is that the most important thing is to answer the whys, the what, the when, and how. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you here? What is the demand? What are your customers' pain points? What is leading you to create a product, and how is it going to benefit your customer? Then comes what is the best way to serve? What is so different about your product or service or offering that is going to make you stand out from the crowd? Then comes the timing of it. When exactly should I go to the market? Should I do it in 2 months' time, or should I do it now? Or should I have been, I don't know, a year ago? And what do you do differently to make sure you still stay relevant and you still emerge stronger, and then you're able to thrive? Then comes how can you create a meaningful impact, which is going to be your main USP. Are you really creating a difference? Do you have a product that stands out that nobody else is delivering in the market? How this is relevant to healthcare, I'm going to speak to in a minute. We were creating a service for Welsh ambulance service. So we realized that obviously the service as an ambulance and the A&Es in Wales were really overloaded. There was no room for patients, and ambulances just didn't know which hospital they need to take what patient to because they were just overwhelmed with the sheer demand that was coming across. We took a step back and we identified, okay, so our main points are that the patients are not getting the kind of care that they require. The ambulances staff don't know what's going on. They're getting frustrated because they're going to all of these A&Es and they're unable to unload the patients off. So it was just a system that wasn't working. A&E didn't know how many patients to expect, what to do. We then went on to answer what is the best way to solve this? How do we tackle it? So we started to create a software which was going to tackle the demand and be able to be intelligent enough to look at the previous demand and analyze different data sources. So are there specific days on which we are experiencing really high demands? If there is a holiday at some point in time, like for example, Christmas, we have noticed the highest number of people getting sick during Christmas. So is there a trend that is emerging from the previous data that we can tackle and make sure that we alter our services in a way to be able to identify those kind of particular demands and be able to tackle them correctly? Then came when do we go to market with this? So with our when, it was slightly different as to in what piece of software. So do we actually tell people that, okay, we are at 80% capacity, we are not going to be able to handle A&Es anymore, like we can't have patients coming in anymore. So do we do it when they're 70% full or 80% full or 90% full? So that is going to be your when, because that's going to be the most defining factor. Then comes how do you create a meaningful impact, which for us was that if we are able to say that, okay, there's 80% A&E full right now, we need to make sure that we're maneuvering patients in a way where they can actually go to different places or different A&Es so that there's not overload of capacity and the patients are getting the best care possible. So those were how we answered it. But this is very, very malleable philosophy which can go to every single industry. You can apply it anywhere because the core philosophy stays the same. You need to know exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, when you need to launch what you want to do, and how are you going to create a meaningful impact. We've got a few statistics there. A source from Deloitte said that 70% of global consumers want to buy from brands that are purpose-driven. They want to feel that they're a part of something big. PwC said that companies that focus on customer experience are 6 times more likely to be profitable than those that don't. Everybody wants personalization. Not to a point where you feel like you're stalking your customers, but they obviously want to feel like some sort of personalization, that you know me, you're catering to my needs, and you really care and understand what I need. Then comes McKinsey and Company. Companies that launch new products or services are 1.5 times more likely to succeed than don't. Timing is everything. If you're too early in the game, then it's just going to fall flat potentially. If you're too late in the game, you've got so many players and so many competitors in the market that it's going to be really difficult to stand out. How do you create a meaningful impact? This is going to be both internal and external, which is why we've got a statistic from Randstad which says 77% of global workers feel that companies' values and purpose are important when they're selecting an employer. So this is an example of internal meaningful impact. What is the culture that you're introducing in your organization? Are people genuinely happy working with you? Do you have a workforce that's really driven and singing from the same hymn sheet basically as you are as an employer? Then comes, what do I need? Now you've understood that, okay, like these are the things that I need to think about when I'm starting off. Now comes, what do I need? The first thing that I think you need to understand is your customer journey. So again, looking at the vast example, the first thing that we identified was, are people aware of the service to begin with? Do people know who do they need to call when they need to call for a service? Are they intending to actually call it? Do they feel like they're going to get any sort of value when they actually give us a call? Are they going to, like the pre-purchase phase is going to be more applicable to e-commerce and those sort of industries, because then people are thinking about purchasing the product, but they haven't really purchased it yet. Then comes the actual purchase. They've decided that yes, they trust you, yes, they see value in your offering, and they've made a purchase. Then are they happy with the post-purchase? Are they having buyer's remorse? Or are they actually thinking, no, that was a really good decision, I need to go back in and look at it again? And are they actually re-engaging with you? And re-engaging in a way that you would ideally like them to re-engage? Are you actually amending the customer journey in a way that is feasible and profitable for you? I think because that's where it's going to be the most important bit, once you've found somebody's attention and they're willing to re-engage with you. Then comes, what are your communication channels? Are you using your website or an app? Are you mainly using social media? Are you going through emails for re-engagement? Or are you going through phone calls, the old traditional way, which a lot of people, and in my opinion, I would just hang up on, but a lot of people do find value in phone calls. Then comes physical location, which is really important for us as a service in healthcare, because we are really physically in physical locations. And then other, depending on exactly what your business is, because like I said, this is something which you can plug and play depending on which industry you're in. Then comes your technical footprint. Do you have a marketing technical infrastructure? Do you have a stack? Do you have certain things that you use to actually, make sure that you've got a strong marketing technical support going on? Do you have an overall infrastructure to be able to handle the kind of demand that's coming in, the kind of calls that are coming in, or anything like that? Like, do you have the infrastructure to support the service or product that you're offering? Then comes the advertising platforms. Where are you actually advertising at, or where are you telling people that, hey, we exist, use us, we're offering this, we're offering that? Are you actually strong enough where those advertising platforms are exactly where your customers go as well? Then again, like I said, other, because this is a very, very plug and play kind of platform that you can use with every business. Then comes, where am I now? I think this is going to be the most important bit for any person that's actually starting off. So the first thing that you're going to do is identify your key performance indicators. You're going to have a look at your traffic, your leads, your revenue, your expenses, your system checks, your ROI. All of these things are going to be the most important. So the quantitative checks are going to be the first thing that are going to be your key performance indicators. You need to know exactly where you see yourself in 6 months' time, in 1 year time, in 5 years' time. What is the revenue growth that you're expecting? What is the kind of lead generation you're expecting? And if for example, you're a website, is your website able to handle the kind of demand that you're expecting in the 1 year coming from now? Or are they going to come to your website and realize that there is a 3 or a 5 second lag and they're just going to quickly drop off because they just don't have the customer experience that they would like from your brand? Then comes the qualitative bit. The qualitative is then your customer experience, your employee satisfaction, and brand value. So like I said, I think we're really, really big on both internal and external. Like, we were actually awarded as the happiest workforce in Wales when we were working. just because we really concentrate on exactly how our how we're feeling from the inside, because we're going to project exactly what we feel on the outside. Then comes, how do you check your key performance indicators? So you're going to look at real-time monitoring. You're going to do funnel matrices, which is going to tell you about your traffic, your leads, your conversions, your revenues. You're going to look at your system checks, which is going to be your page speed, uptime capacity. Are you able to handle the kind of demand that you're looking for? You're going to be looking at your ROIs, which is going to be how much you've invested, what have you budgeted for, what are the profits that you're going to be looking at, and what are your expenses. And then comes the qualitative checks, which is a little bit more difficult because this is mainly driven on your feedback surveys and your people actually willing to give you the right kind of feedback. So I think anonymity over here is a big thing for us. So having anonymous feedbacks and things like that for your qualitative feedback is something that is a must, I think. Then comes your diagnostic tests. Have you done your diagnostic tests to see whether or not you are being able to deliver or people are knowing about what you're trying to do? So have you done your SEO scans? Are you listening to people on social media? Are you looking at your online reviews? Are you seeing your employee satisfaction? Are you seeing retention rates? So in your employee satisfaction, somebody could go in and tell you that yes, they're really happy with you, but are there actual employee retentions? Are people sticking with you for more than 6 months or 1 year? Because nowadays it's really expensive to train people. And once they're up to training in like 6 months' time, if they're leaving you, you're just incurring costs on people and you're not really getting any benefit out of them. Then comes resource utilization, which is exactly what I spoke about. So that's exactly all of this. Are your people actually sticking with you? Once they've gone through that 6 months of training, are they actually giving you the kind of results that you expected? Are they up to speed with it? And so on. And then comes which way is the right way. So this is something which is more of a cyclical philosophy according to us. We're constantly adapting, we're constantly evolving, and then we're constantly thriving. So your adopt phase is going to be in the very early stages when everything is going wrong. You've just started off, you don't really have a lot of customers. The customers that are coming in might have unmet you might have unmet experiences, which would mean that your financial goals are not met properly. There's low customer satisfaction potentially, and you're stretched way too thin because you're trying to go 1,000,000 miles an hour and try to do 100 different things. And this is where you're just adapting, and you're just literally in survive mode. Then comes evolve. Now you're much more financially stable. You've got a proper infrastructure. You've got healthy systems. You've got happy customers. And you've got the bandwidth to really think about it from a high level, re-strategize, and really grow from here. Then comes thrive. Everything has worked well. You've done a wonderful job. Everything is going exactly as you planned. Your foundation is strong. You have a steady growth. You have streamlined operations. This is where you venture out and actually take some risks. You try and see, okay, let's try and tweak this little thing over here and see what kind of results we get. Let's try and experiment, because everything is all about data at the end. Then comes, let's do it. So I think this is where you've understood your entire journey. So it's a summary of your entire journey. You've understood exactly what your customer is, what their pain points are. You've taken instinctive decisions, but you've backed it up with data, like the way that we talked about with your KPIs and your funnel reportings and your ROIs and things like that. You've backed it all with data, but you've taken instinctive decisions, because sometimes you identify trends that your data isn't exactly telling you. It's just something your instinct is telling you because you've been in the business, you've spoken to your customers, so you know how things work. And then you're being flexible and adaptable at every single point in time. You're not going to be that snobby know-it-all who's just going to be like, no, I've mastered the game, I know exactly what I'm doing. I don't think that works anymore. You've got to be flexible, you've got to be adaptable, you've got to be malleable, and you've just got to go with the customer trends that are going on right now. Then comes choosing the right approach. This is going to be the most important thing, because this is going to basically define what your philosophy as an organization is. Are you agile? Are you waterfall? Or are you somewhere in the middle? Are you too rigid? Or are you giving too much freedom to your employees where they're just going off and doing their own thing and not actually coming together? And then it's all about making your personality shine, which is what we always say. It's all about you. You are the brand. You are the USP. You are what makes the difference. So it's all going to be about you, and you're going to be the main USP of your brand. That's it for me today. I don't really want to bore you with a long conversation, but that was, yeah. If you got any questions for me, please feel free to answer. Questions, sorry. Nothing? No? Okay. Thank you for coming. Really appreciate your time.